Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Posi-TIPS with Rachelle, folks. It is always great to be back here with you on another episode of Posi-TIPS. And I wanted to continue this conversation. Last time I kicked off the series here entitled, What is Your Problem? What is your problem? And the importance of defining our problems in life correctly. Because many times in life, we're addressing and we're attempting to solve symptoms or problems, not the actual problem itself. And so when we think about this, there's just myriad different issues, problems that can be addressed in life on a professional level, on a personal level, in every facet of life. And so it's so important that we laser focus, but also more importantly, have the courage to face truth. And I really wanted to highlight that particular point on this episode is the value and the importance of facing truth. Because no change, whether positive or negative, can occur in our lives if we are unwilling to face the truth about ourselves, we're unwilling to face the truth about our situation or situations. Sometimes in multiple situations it can be challenging a person. But with an inability to face the truth will cause a person to instead focus their time, energy, efforts on a symptom of a problem, or sometimes something that isn't even related to the problem. See, it's often said that activity does not always equal progress. Many times it's easy, you can just be spinning your wheels, absolutely doing absolutely nothing to solve the true problem, the real problem at hand. So defining the problem, uncovering what the real problem is, requires a level of honesty, emotional honesty, self-honesty, that it can be devastating at times, overwhelming at times, but also it just, I always want to challenge you to be courageous. When we think about having a life that is impactful, that is making a difference, that is you being happily, you being fulfilled, you being successful, those type of things, they don't just happen for people. Folks have to do things in order to make things happen. And so, folks that you see that are living their best lives or living very fulfilled lives, or you think about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, studying that model years ago. You think about the top, the top level is self-actualization. Folks who are, and I'm very big on self-actualization myself personally, but also, folks who are very big on self-actualization, are often required to deal with situations, to confront challenges like everybody else, just like everyone else. But also requires the courage to face the truth. Anytime we are dealing with particularly repetitive situations, repetitive problems in our lives, gotta face the truth about what it could be like. Say, for example, a person can say, and this may be you may know somebody like this, you may have known somebody like this, where they can have 10 jobs and they're never happy. They're never happy. And the jobs can be well paying, they could be quote unquote, you may look at a person and say, well, that job is prestigious, or this person has a big title, whatever. Why are they never happy? And this person can go from job to job to job to job to job, 10 jobs, in the last 5 years. And you could be their best friend, you could be their relative, you could be their spouse, you could be their significant other. And you're just asking, you're kind of shaking your head like, why? What is it? It doesn't matter. We could relocate 20 times in the next 5 years for different jobs, but this person cannot get happy. What is it? And that's why I say defining the problem, uncovering the true problem, dealing with the real problem is so important. Okay, is it a problem of that person just it's not that they keep getting a bad boss, or that the jobs just don't pay enough, or again, these can often be excuses that people will use to switch jobs. Oh, it doesn't have this. Oh, it doesn't have this. Well, this one has better benefits. Well, this one has a better commute, whatever the case may be. But the real problem, if the person really engages in a level of self-honesty and facing truth, the ability to face the truth, will determine, okay, that the problem isn't these last 10 jobs I've had for the last 5 years. The problem is me. Because what is the constant in this situation? The problem is me. I'm the problem in this situation. When someone, whether it's you or someone else, when we can't get happy despite multiple changes, we are the problem. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. We've got to, and this is where taking responsibility comes into play. Comes into play. You know, what can I do to change this dynamic? What can I do, you know, within myself? It can require some deep work, some healing, you know, that those deep roots of insecurity that cause a person to never feel satisfied, to never feel happy, to never feel contentment no matter what. Those are deep problems. That is a very deep issue that needs to be addressed, because that person can just continue this same trajectory of job hopping for the next 20 or 30 years until retirement. You know, and look back and say, you know, I had 45 jobs during the course of my career and I'm still not happy. You know, this person is on the 45th job and about to retire, and I was never happy. What a tragedy that is. How much time do we spend at work, and to not be happy, content, and fulfilled is an absolute tragedy. But that's an example. I mean, you can take that same dynamic, that insecurity, inability to be satisfied. You can also take that and drop that right into the relational realm. Individual can go from person to person to person, husband to husband, wife to wife to wife to person, you know, significant other to significant other to significant other to significant other to significant other, and still not be satisfied. Okay, the problem is not with all these different people. Okay, you are the one common denominator, or an individual who's in that circumstance or situation is the common denominator in that situation, despite having multiple relationship partners. Okay, but see, it's going to take courage to say, hold on now, you know, I've got a problem here. You know, I've had this many spouses and I'm just never satisfied. What is it about me where I can't get satisfied? What is it? And these are the deep problems, these are the deep issues that are coming from the real problem. You know, the multiple relationship partners, that's just a symptom of the real problem. Okay, the job hopping, constant job hopping, those are just symptoms. Job after job after job. Those are just multiple symptoms of the deeper problem. All right, somebody, you know, a people pleaser who can't tell anyone no, who's running around complaining about, oh, everyone takes advantage of me. Oh, everyone just uses me. Oh, I never have any time for myself. Oh, I'm always rushing from here to there. Okay, those are symptoms of a problem. Okay, and the real problem is that, could the real problem be that you lack confidence? That there's a deep root of insecurity where you are terrified of telling people no, that you are terrified of rejection, that you are terrified of any negative reaction that you may get when you tell someone no, who is expecting you to say yes or used to you saying yes. Okay? Could you be overcommitted, super busy, always running and stressed out because I'm insecure and I don't know how to tell anyone no, or I'm insecure and I get my worth and value based on how much I do or how much I do for other people. And so that person all of a sudden has become a martyr and is running around complaining about what everybody's using and taking advantage of him or her. No, that person needs to take responsibility for what's not working, you know, in his or her life. But you got to address the real problems, okay? And I'm going to close with this fitness example because we know that, you know, we have an epidemic of obesity in this country. The Centers for Disease Control, I state this particularly on Fitness Friday episodes. I've stated this a number of times over the years. CDC says, their own research, 2/3 of Americans in the United States are either overweight or obese. Okay, so we have an epidemic in this country, absolute epidemic. And so with a person, you know, who yo-yo diets, or the person who joins gym after gym after gym, or has trainer after trainer after trainer, okay, those are symptoms. Those are symptoms. What is the real problem? Okay, it could be going back to that inability to be satisfied. Okay, a person may have had 24 different trainers in the last 20 years, has never been satisfied with any of them. Okay, the one constant denominator in that situation is that person. Okay, and there's been 24 different people that have tried to help that person in that situation that have not been successful. Okay, could it be an inability to be satisfied while I'm struggling? Or could it be, is there some deep emotional wounds? That food, have I become an emotional eater where I'm utilizing food to serve as a comfort to me during challenging times or during traumatic times or reflecting upon traumatic times? You know, what is the real problem? You know, or certainly a very common one, I like, a person can just say, be honest, have the courage to be honest and to face truth and say. The problem is I've struggled for the last year, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years in fitness and in a healthy lifestyle because I like motivation. I like motivation. That is when people reach those type of insights and just, levels of self-awareness, that is very helpful in terms of being able to take responsibility. Okay, a person may say, I like motivation. Okay, then what can I do in order to become motivated, on my fitness journey? And I say this was actually in the recent episode, recent edition here, or issue of Oprah magazine. So September 2019, Oprah's a great person, has done a lot of great things, have a lot of respect for her. She has a lot of ads in her magazine, but this one certainly just really is going to illustrate this point as I close out this episode. So we see here a product that is made here, and so it says, so you see people here, and you also, let me read some of this copy for Saxenda, which is a medication. Let me just read it here. When it comes to losing weight and keeping it off, we've always had the will. Now we have another way. Managing obesity, like the long-term disease it is, requires more than willpower alone. Adding Saxenda to a reduced calorie meal plan and increased physical activity may help you lose weight and keep it off. And then, of course, there's all the legalese, and then it's all of that, indications and all of that that is there. But again, so we have a product that has been developed, essentially telling people you can't do it on your own. Willpower is not enough. Changing your diet is not enough. Exercising is not enough. That combination is not enough. What you need is Saxenda. That will help you for folks who are struggling or have struggled with obesity. This is your answer. This right here, Saxenda. Get this medication. And so when you think about, somebody just on a basic level, a person that's struggled in their fitness journey and all of that, or struggled with obesity, and I say this respectfully too as well. I know it's a struggle. I know it's a challenge. But we also need to recognize, though, the truth of the matter is, living a healthy lifestyle, being physically fit, and all of that is not easy. It's not easy. And again, getting to the root, this is a series on problem definition. When we think about problems in life, particularly repetitive problems, it is often said, and I remember having this conversation, when I worked in medical sales years ago, doctors were just, some of my customers, which were physicians, were just sometimes just disillusioned because they felt that their patients always wanted a quick fix. Can you give me a pill? Is there something quick and easy I can do, in order to turn this hypertension around, or this diabetes around, or this COPD around, okay? They didn't want to put in the work. And again, going back to what a root problem, the root problem in the obesity epidemic in this country, okay, I'm not going to say all, because you can have some genetic and some hereditary challenges, but a lot of folks just don't want to do the work. That's the real problem. Motivation, just don't want to do the work, don't want to invest the time, don't want to invest the effort, don't want to change my diet. And hence you have products like this that are born to quote unquote help people. And then my argument in this situation was, again, with anything, when marketing, this is marketing piece. Okay, they're trying to sell product, they're trying to sell this medication. And I always say, now, if it were that easy, if this were truly kind of a miracle type thing to help obese individuals, it would be a $60 trillion medication, because every obese person would be trying to get a hold of it. All right, and they too, to be fair, they are suggesting physical, dietary modifications as well as exercise. But we just have to recognize in any aspect of life, it'd be easy to struggle and all of that because you don't want to put into work to do something. Somebody wants the college degree, but then they don't want to put in they want to go to class. Always with anything in life, anything that is worth having, anything that is worth preserving is going to require effort, and it's going to take time. So let's just all recognize that. And as we move forward, as we define our problems correctly, as we have courage to face the truth, have courage to really address and solve problems that need to be solved, we can go from there. So that is all I have for you this episode. I look forward to continuing this conversation next time on problem definition. What is your problem? So stay tuned. But until then, remember, I am positively passionate about your success. Make it a great day.